This is the big one on the geopolitical front this week. Sunday, we have the Japan snap elections. Um, Japan's Prime Minister Takaichi is looking to pick up seats in the Japanese Diet. This is a consolidation move to basically pull in, strengthen the majority. We'll get into the seat breakout here in a second, but we talked a little bit about Japanese insurance last week, right, Cameron? There's some sort, like, as JGB yields continue to rise, and they're going to. There's nothing to stop that trend. Um, the Japanese banking sector and the BOJ and the political kind of regime are all aligned that they are going to address and rein in inflation. What that effectively means is the Japanese yen carry trade, the number two source of funding scheme, financing, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
capital liquidity pool in global markets. JPY is going away. The yen carry trade is not long for this world. What this political consolidation would do for the Takaichi version of the LDP, which is the successor to the Abenomics era, or the Abe big sweep in the 2010s. This consolidation, in my opinion, what we were looking for is basically a shoring up of political consensus, so that when the steps need, or like come, or when the market scenario arises where the steps need to be taken to address, say, a mini crisis. I don't believe we're looking at a 2008 type of crisis that would hit your large banks, your financial institutions, all of that. I think those are safe. If you go back and watch last week's video, we described why. It's really a regional banking impacting, and
Private
Shinkin
credit.
banks, which are
Yep.
the analogs of credit unions, the insurance sector, and then the cross-border linkages on the reinsurance sector, which ties the Japanese life insurers to the US private credit sector. And we'll get into that in a chart in a second. But basically, what I view as happening, your largest capital pool in the offshore dollar system has basically been taken out behind the dumpster, shot in the head, and just thrown by the wayside. It's over. And that started, you could say, really in 2018 when we launched SOFR, went through a hiccup with COVID, and then with the rate hikes of 22, the deprecation of LIBOR, you had basically a full regime change of the new dollar order. There is no global offshore dollar anymore. Soon to be, there's no global offshore yen carry trade available. Those are, if you're running a financing scheme and you have a core dependence on those debt markets to finance your own, just scheme, right? Uh, the only game town left is to mark up the gold. And that's what you're seeing with the central bank buying. So that is the explanatory power, like framework behind what's going on, as gold has been in this secular generational bull market, the repricing against fiat currencies, the dollar, the yen, but everything really. That's what's happening is economies who are dependent on kind of cross-border economy, or a foreign economy like the US or Japan, to finance their own credit scheme. We're looking at you, Great British Pound and Euro, just to give a hint here. Those are gone, and now it's gold, right? And that's your only game in town. Um, all right, so that's what we're looking for in Japan this week. If you look at what are the key thresholds, apologies, like just take it up with our producers, which are myself and Cameron, for putting the graphics together. Somehow that last red bubble didn't get pulled down to the 310 seats majority. These are the key cutoff numbers you're looking for on Sunday for where the LDP comes in. The basic ones: 233 seats. There's 465 seats in the Japanese Diet. 233 gives you a simple majority, 50% plus one, basically. That's a weak majority from parliamentary procedure. You can't do much, as we're kind of seeing in the US, right? This is where the US Congress is. You've got a Republican majority, like in name only, really, right? Because you're seeing kind of defections, people resign, they don't finish out their term. the U.S. majority in Congress is exceptionally weak. So this is where you don't want to be if you're in the LDP. 233 or anything close to that, you're in no man's land. You didn't really achieve anything. 243 is what would be considered a stable majority. All right, that's a little bit better, allows you to do more. You go through House committees for votes, all of that, and then the chairperson, which you would assume would be an LDP figure, would cast the deciding vote. That's better. Third cutoff would be 261 seats, an absolute majority. You could basically pass initiatives even without cooperation from opposition parties. So you just LDP only, right? We don't need to do anything. We don't need to appease some other sector, some
Great
faction, et cetera.
coalition. Yep.
Horse trading, right? There's always give and take in politics. And then this is probably not in the cards, but 310 seats would be a 2/3 majority, which is basically like ram it through. We can do whatever we want. This is like, I don't know, think NFL football, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Like, we're going to run it right at you and you're not going to stop
Right.
it, that type of thing. So, this is just expectations. This is from Goldman Sachs. Reiki-san, love the names. Japanese culture, just getting to call people san, like with the san for Mister. It's just fun to do. This is what we're looking at going in. So right now, LDP is at 198 seats. You've got like Ishin, which is I think that's a Japan Innovation Party. They've got 34 seats, very minor players, but it's enough to get them into that majority control they're in right now. Basically, right at that 233. They're at that simple, like basic majority at this point. Goldman's current call, at least this analyst sees LDP picking up 65 seats to get to 263. They do see Japanese innovation losing eight. So part of that is friendly fire, right? So you're on net picking up 57 in your coalition. And then you've got this other group, the CRA, the Centrist Reform Alliance, which is the CDP. I think that stands for Christian Democratic Party, but not sure. And then Komieto, which is maybe this isn't proven yet, but they are definitely a CCP, mainland China friendly party or faction within Japan is how I understand it. They're expected to lose. So the net trade-off here is expected to be some pickup for the Takaichi government that we've called them. They're the Japanese sovereigntist movement in our read of the world and how the geopolitics are laying out. What you're watching for on Sunday is that margin of victory. Anything above that, what was the cutoff?
Yeah, I was gonna say just a
Two,
261.
two, 261 is a good result, like a very good. If you can get to 310, that's like, call it impossible, but that would be cherry on top that'd be everything you want if you're Takaichi. Anything below 243, not good. Okay,
Right.
so that's what we're watching for.
Just to round that
Markets will respond.
I
Yeah,
was
go
just saying,
ahead.
just to round that out really quick. I mean, I plugged in here Takaichi, even the news. I don't know if this is a specific lean to it or whatever, but only 20% of respondents to a poll said they're undecided. Even so, as we look at these numbers, this is still with according to this polling, the majority of people have already kind of solidified where they're going to go in terms of parties to vote for.
That makes sense. We've been in this environment for 10 years. Japan's been in, they're coming out of a 30, 40-year depression.
They
So,
know
yeah, I
where
think
the puck is going.
people are pretty decided.
Yep.
As everything, don't listen to polling. The polls are not going to send you in the right direction. We won't get into that.